did an extensive literature review, but we could not compare fusions with ADR. So we have two different branches. So what we did was we searched the PubMed, Cochrane, and the Google Scholar till 2024, whatever papers were published, and the outcomes included were the OR time, blood loss, hospital stay, reoperations, ODI, VAS, back pain, and leg pain. In the OLIF or the fusion group, 54 studies were included, and in the ADR versus fusion group, 10 studies were included. And this is the Prisma flow chart for the article selection criteria. And the Robbins I tool was used to remove the critical risk bias. So for OLIF or anterior to psoas, it comes with a different name. 1997 Mayer described this procedure, and 2012 Silvestri first used this term called OLIF. There is a theoretical advantage of lower rates of bowel injury than peritoneal anterior lumbar interbody fusion, and that's why a lot of people, they started accepting this approach. And there is also a lower risk of any lumbar plexus injury compared to transpsoas fusions. So you will see that there is gradual remodeling of the spinal canal, and that is mainly because of the stabilization effect of OLIF. So this is the pre-op MRI scan, the first week post-op, and by 1 year you will see how it's remodeling after OLIF. OLIF with stabilization by the pedicle screw, it has the best biomechanical stability, and that was proven by the previous finite element studies. Some people, they use lateral plate, but as per the meta-analysis, there is no additional clinical benefit to the standalone OLIF in prevention of cage subsidence. And supplemental screw fixation, that means with the OLIF cage, they put a blocking screw to prevent any anterior migration of the cage. So vascular corridors, you have all seen that. Skip this. So now OLIF or anterior to psoas, the indications are expanding. It can be used in severe spinal stenosis. Even in the lumbar facet cyst, you can see how the facet cyst disappears after performing an OLIF. It can be used in adult spinal deformity to achieve a very good lordosis and a very good balance. Nowadays, this has already been utilized by some surgeons for infections like tuberculosis, fungal or bacterial infections, and it is a very good revision strategy as well. So when we compare OLIF versus the lateral transpsoas fusion, in OLIF there is always preservation of psoas muscle, as you all know, and there is lower risk of lumbar plexus. And there was there was improvement of VAS scores, which is more significant in OLIF than XLIF group, and probably because there was a psoas muscle injury. That was the only finding in the meta-analysis, and this is based on the meta-analysis by Z and Walker, and 56 studies were included in that. There was no clinically significant difference in terms of estimated blood loss, operative time, and length of stay of patient in the hospital. The anterior thigh symptoms, pain, sensory weakness, hip flexors, in XLIF or direct lateral was around 30 to 40%, and in OLIF it varies from 1.3 to 21.4%. The complication rate is almost similar, 26.7% in OLIF, and most of them were sympathetic plexus or the vascular injuries, whereas in direct lateral, it was 27.8% with anterior thigh symptoms, hip flexor weakness predominantly. The fusion rates slightly higher in OLIF, it was 96.9%, whereas in direct lateral, it was 91.6%. But in the meta-analysis, nobody could provide any reason why the fusion rate is higher in OLIF. So the complications when compared to various approaches, the vascular injury was around 8.2% in OLIF approaches, and it was left common iliac vein or the segmental artery, predominantly because of the pins. Ureter injury, there were only few case reports. Post-operative ileus, the incidence was 0.9 to 22%. The cage subsidence is at 18.7% in OLIF. Despite having a very good fixation, you can see how the cage subsided within 12 months of OLIF, and this was 18.7%. And the adjacent segment degeneration, there was 0.34 lower odds of developing it, and there was 0.4% lower odd of reoperation after OLIF. So the recent advances are navigated robotic or mixed reality or a single position OLIF. Now we talk about the meta-analysis of the lumbar disc replacements versus fusion. And the fusions were either anterior lumbar interbody fusions or the posterior MIS TLIF fusions. So these were the studies which were included. There was only 10 papers which qualified. There are spurious arguments about the ADR, that it's a novel or an experimental procedure, it's a benign disease and doesn't warrant a disc replacement. Long-term data is not available. Oh, it's only indicated in discogenic back pain. I don't believe in this procedure and it's simply too risky. These are all spurious arguments. And ISS in 2021 has come up with a position statement about ADRs. These are the various papers which were reviewed, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. You can do all of them. All of them are ESP devices. And sometimes I perform hybrid fusion and an ADR. The rationale being doing this hybrid is that I normally believe that technology should match with the pathology. If the nerve is irritated or too much compressed, then fuse that level so that it doesn't move a lot and it recovers faster. And these are the forest plot showing the OR time. There is no statistical difference between any fusion or ADR. The estimated blood loss, not much of difference there. And if you compare the length of stay in hospital, the ADR patients, they leave hospital soon. The rate of complication is always in favor of ADR. That means lesser complication rates in ADR than fusion. It's lesser reoperation rates in ADR than fusions. The ODI improved significantly in ADRs than in fusions. The back pain was significantly improved, much better in ADR than fusions. The leg pain also ADR than fusions. And the leg pain at 2-year follow-up was in favor of, again, ADR. The sub-analysis was not possible for the fusion because the number of studies was so low with the interbody, and we could not compare that. So the conclusion is the finding in this meta-analysis revealed no significant difference in OR time, estimated blood loss, length of stay, rates of complications, reoperation. ADR was associated with significant reduction in back pain and leg pain, and it produces similar or better outcomes on long term when compared to any kind of fusion. And this was the position statement of ISS in 2021 after comparing the meta-analysis. The level 1, most of the papers were level 1 and level 2 papers were done. And ISS strongly supports lumbar disc replacements are a safe and effective treatment alternative to fusion, but in an appropriately selected patients. You need to remember that any level which can receive a disc replacement, they can be fused. But it's not the vice versa. You need to properly select the levels for artificial disc replacements. So the take-home message would be, lumbar disc replacement is not for every patient and not for every surgeon. A good disc replacement is better than a good fusion. A good fusion is better than a badly done disc replacement, and the badly done disc replacement is worse than a bad kind of a fusion. Thank you.